It's Monday morning and it is a spectacular day today. A day for change and transformation. Now, how can a person transform from looking like a scruffy homeless person to a gentleman in just 10 minutes and without spending a single cent? Easy. "10 years in 10 minutes. Now it's time to go to work. Before we start class today, I need to talk to you about a couple of things. The first thing is this. Do you remember when I read this live on the internet for 41 hours? Well, if you don't know, in October last year, myself and teachers here at the school, people from the community and lots of other online teachers, we read every single word in the Oxford Dictionary to raise money for the education of refugees in Greece. Now, for the past few weeks, I've been talking to the organization in Greece, and very, very soon, I will be going there, working with them, and of course, giving them this money and all of the resources that we can buy. So I want to say that this is your final opportunity to make a donation. It's not too late, but very soon it will be. But if you have some spare cash, even if it's only $1, then please consider donating. And when you see what happens with this money, when you see the effect that it will have, it will be worth it. You'll feel amazing. You'll feel amazing. The next thing that I want to talk about is something that, for me, it's horrible, but it is what it is. And that is that now, because I'm uploading more videos, I don't have time to reply to all of your comments. Now, this may be hard to believe, but for the past 3 years, I have replied to every single comment on YouTube. You can go and look at all my videos. I've replied to everybody, but now it's just not physically possible. I mean, I could spend 2 hours every day answering comments, but I think my time is better spent making great content for you guys. But I want you to know that I always read all of your comments. I will reply to as many as possible. Please don't stop leaving beautiful comments for me. It's what keeps me going. When I wake up in the morning, I've had 5 hours sleep, I feel tired and grumpy because I'm not a morning person. And then I look on my phone and it's like, "Christian, thank you. You're the best teacher." It's manna, it's fuel for me. So please don't stop. Okay, so now we can start class. I want to start by showing you a map. Now, what do you think this map shows? Is it the amount of endangered species in countries, the number of sausages eaten every day? No, it shows which languages in the world indicate definiteness and indefiniteness. It's the amount of definiteness in the world. And that leads on to the topic of today's class, which is articles. And I hope that by the end of this class you will understand what the hell I'm talking about. Let's start by looking at a very simple sentence. A big yellow school. Now, here we have our noun school, and here we have 2 adjectives. Now, these adjectives give very important information about the school. They tell us the color, that it's yellow, and they also tell us the size. It's a big school. But what about this article at the front? It doesn't seem to give us any useful information. And if you come from a language like Russian, which doesn't have articles, it seems to be completely pointless, something which is obligatory in English, but really has no important meaning. But you will be amazed at the amount of information contained in this single letter. The first thing that articles do is tell us if a noun is countable or uncountable. Now, what does that mean? Look at this water. Now, in English, we consider that we can count the bottle. I have one bottle. I can even count the milliliters of water inside the bottle. But I cannot count water. It is an infinite liquid, and if I want to count it, I need to break it down into some type of unit. Now, in English, I can use any of the articles with countable nouns, but with uncountable nouns like water, I can only use the. And the reason for that is this. Because the next thing that articles do is tell us whether something is singular or plural. Now, with singular nouns, we can use any of the articles. But with plural nouns, we can only use the. The reason for this is that the articles a and un in English come from the number 1. They mean the same thing. And that's why we cannot use a and un with plurals. The final thing articles do is to indicate whether a noun is definite or indefinite. When we use the definite article the, we are defining the noun. We are identifying it, putting limits around the noun. But when we use the indefinite articles a and un, it's the opposite. It's a totally open category. Let me give you an example. I have 2 potatoes, Mr. Potato and a Mrs. Potato. They are totally different things. They couldn't be any more different. Now, if you ask me for a potato, it means that you don't mind which one I give you. To you, the category of potatoes is open. But if you ask me for the potato, you're telling me that you are defining, naming, identifying a specific potato that you want. Probably Mr. Potato, because she looks like she's missing, well, a nose and arms and a nose and a mouth and... But I understand that sometimes it seems confusing and illogical. But I think I can explain most of that using this map. This is a map of Earth, the world. But why would I say Earth with no article, but the world? The reason is that Earth is a name. We called it Earth. By giving it a name, we already indicated all of the properties of the noun, that it's singular, it's countable, and it's something definite. An article is not necessary. But with world, yes, there are many worlds. In our universe, there could be an infinite number of worlds. But this is the world, the definite, specific world that we live in. But then what about the United States? Why do we say the? Because in the world, there are many states. Australia has states, Brazil has states. But these are the specific, definite states, the United States. But what about uncountable things in the world? Well, we have a lot of them. We have peace and war and love and hate. These things are immense. They are infinite, they are impossible to count. But we can talk about specific versions of those things, like the love that I have for all of my students from around the world. So now look at these 3 sentences. I go to a school, I go to this school, and I go to school. And just take a moment to appreciate how much information I give you by including or not including these tiny little words. I hope that now you realize that articles contain a lot of really important information. They are a tool to help you express yourself more accurately. They are not just some strange little words that we add in front of nouns for no particular reason. Sometimes when we're learning, we need to try to look at things from a different perspective to make them more interesting and enjoyable. For example, take a look at this. Now, you've probably seen a million of these types of puzzles all over Facebook, and people love them, even people who say that they hate maths. But this is exactly the same problem, expressed in a different way. It's not very attractive, is it? It's a question of perspective, and I hope that now articles are your new best friends. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that class, and I really hope that it cleared up some of the confusion that maybe you had about using articles in English. But if you want to hear something really confusing, why do we put round pizza in a square box and then eat it in triangles? I'm Christian, this is Canguro English. I'll see you in class.